It was about this time last year when we started the process of applying to the community college for my homeschool high schooler for dual enrollment. And so today, that's what we're going to chat about, what the process looks like and what you need to know. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Tricia and I'm a homeschooling mom. We 3 kids. This is our 12th year and my daughter is a junior. She's already finished her first semester at the community college for dual enrollment while also doing some classes at home. And then this week she starts the second semester. So before I jump into the topic, I do want to say that if you have any questions about dual enrollment, be sure to leave them down there. If I get a lot of questions on this one and then on the next video, I'm happy to do another Q&A type video. My next video will be things that we learned, things I wish I would have known, that sort of thing before we started. So be sure to come back for that video as well. If you don't yet have a high schooler, especially, I have a whole video play series on homeschooling high school. And so if you wanted to check that out, I did that over the summer and covered a lot of topics about high school. So that will be on there. And the other video will be down there as well once it's published, or you can go find it on my main page. Now, let's hop into the topic. As I said in the beginning, this is about the time of year that we started the process last year. The community college that we ended up choosing, we have 3 in our area that are pretty similar distance for us. And they had one of the parents in my homeschool co-op had arranged a meeting, an introductory meeting for homeschool parents specifically at the community college. One of the other ones had just a general parent meeting, but it had been in December, and the other one was meeting in March. So now is the time to contact any that are in your area and find out if they're having a parent meeting. It was really helpful for us, and since ours was specifically for homeschool parents, it was good to get guidance specifically that relates to how our kids will come into it. I just realized I didn't define what dual enrollment is. If you don't know what dual enrollment is, now the details will vary by state, but essentially your high school student, usually in grades 11 and 12, can take classes for college credit at a community college. And then in our state, it's paid for. Tuition is paid for by the state. Parents are responsible for the books. Now, I know in some other states, your student can do it, but there's the state doesn't pay for it, or they will pay at a reduced cost, and then parents pay a part of it. In North Carolina, parents don't have to pay anything. In theory, your child can graduate from high school with an associate's degree if they take the right number of classes and the right ones. And how it works in our state is that those classes that are taken there are guaranteed to transfer to any of the other state schools. Now, beyond that, it's really up to the schools whether they accept the transfer or not. However, they do count for your high school classes as well. And so what we decided with that is that even if they don't transfer, one, she's getting them paid for, or she's getting the classes as high school. 2, she's getting the experience of being in a college setting while still at home. And she's also getting exposure to a college level of that class, so that even if she has to take it again in college, she's got a bigger, stronger foundation to start from. So for us, we decided it was worth it. So that's what dual enrollment is. Back to the topic. So as I said, my first tip is contact the schools to find out if they're having a parent meeting. And if not, find out who you need to talk to if you have questions, because you're probably going to have questions. I'm going to try to do my best to answer them here. And of course, you can contact local homeschoolers to you, but it's also good to hear from the professional So find out when they're having a meeting and or who you need to contact. So we went to the parent meeting and we did a tour of the campus as well. They gave us one. And I just had a feeling that was going to be the one that she would choose. Of the three, there were two that were more convenient, and the third one was really not convenient for us. So I really didn't want her to choose that one. And we had thought we would still keep the other one in mind, the one that had the parent meeting in December. But as we stewed over it for the next week or so, she decided that she really liked the feel of that campus as well. So once she chose that one, it was time to apply. Now, at our meeting, we were given all that information. We had paperwork that we had to fill out, of course, and then we had to include the transcript. And this is the part that I've talked about in that high school series. You want to keep up on your transcripts. I had not done a fantastic job of it. Do as I say, not as I do. And it took me a while to get this done. I think I have a copy of a blank transcript, and if so, I will leave it down there. But don't overthink this. Putting the course and the grade and the GPA, and then your students' information, their name and social security, all of that. And then you have to sign it to make it official. That's what, it's a pretty basic transcript, and that's all ours wanted. So those are the two things that we need, the paperwork and the transcript. And we emailed that in, and then a couple of weeks later, we got a letter in the mail saying, congratulations, you've been accepted. And so the application process itself was quick. Now, my next tip is one that worked out fine for us in the spring, but in the fall, I didn't follow and caused some issues for us. And that is that as soon as you get that official enrollment acceptance, you need to get registered for your classes. So while you're waiting, figure out what you want to take. Maybe choose a couple different scenarios depending on what is available, and then get it signed up. I waited, and it turned out okay for the fall semester, but in the fall, we didn't enroll quick enough, and spring became, the classes that she's in are going to be good ones, and she needs them, but they're not the ones that she wanted to take. So while you're waiting, map it out. In our state, and I assume this is true in other places as well, but I don't know, you have the option not only of taking classes that transfer to a four-year university, but there are also trade school options. So things like horticulture, HVAC, culinary school, all kinds of things. And we can take classes from what they call tracks. Now, the tracks are like the set of classes that if you take these, it will help you lead right into a specific degree. So College of Nursing, for example. And they give you classes that you'll need for those first 2 years to transfer in. So there's a few different these, but then also some vocational ones. So we can take from more than one track. My daughter's just in a general, I think the two tracks we put down were like a science one and a liberal arts, basically. So that's what we chose, were two college ones, but you can, in our state at least, you can choose from more than one. You can take classes from them. We, at our parents' meeting, were given a dual enrollment packet of classes that we can choose from. And I should have specified this earlier. With dual enrollment, generally you cannot just choose any classes at the college. There are pre-designated classes that are kind of classes you would generally take for your first couple of years in college. So a lot of just general ed type classes. Your English, your introduction to psychology or sociology, history, government, pre-algebra, or pre-calculus, calculus, statistics, those basic courses. So have your classes ready, and as soon as you have that opportunity, put in for your classes. Now, as far as what classes to choose and such, I'll talk more about that in the next video. So be sure to go when that one is out, be sure to watch it. But what we chose for the fall were pre-calculus and public speaking. She really wanted to take pre-calculus and English. And I said, that is a lot to take on your first semester when English is not our strong subject. Math is. So I said, let's do something else that's still in that realm of English, but is not as much work. As it turns out, her pre-calculus class wasn't as much work as we expected, so she could have taken something that was a little harder. She probably could have added a third course and been fine, but it was good for the first semester. So once your kiddo is enrolled in their classes, next step is just to set up your student access on this college website, and that information should be easy to find. And once you're in there, you'll also find their information for what books they need. As I said, in North Carolina, we are responsible for the books. And her public speaking one was just online. Her math one was online, but then there was a supplementary book that are listed as optional that we chose to rent from Amazon rental, and I think it was like $35 for the semester to rent it. This semester, another one of the books we got through Amazon rental, and the other one we had to buy through the college bookstore, which is actually run through Barnes & Noble. I don't know if that's a common thing now with student bookstores. And she'll pick it up on campus when she goes this week. The last part is perhaps the part that the part that made me cry. And that was send them on their way. It is weird to me that my daughter loved these first two teachers, and I heard so much about them, and I've never met, and I never will. Two teachers that really influenced her, and I've never met them. As a homeschool parent, that is so weird. And watching her walk off to her first day of classes, and but at the same time, it felt so natural to just send her off. I knew she was ready. I knew she would do fine. And she did far better than I could have ever imagined that she was actually going to do, not just with grades, but just with handling. I'll see you in the next video.